Hi everyone, Patek here. I am back. I am back from the UK, and that means after almost 3 weeks, it is time for another episode of SFF Spotlight. For those of you who are waiting for my vlog, for my UK vlogs, I'm still in the middle of editing the videos, and I hope I can post them within this week and also probably next week. And yeah, there will be 2 videos compiling all my UK trip. But until then, as usual, I am back to posting videos again, and that means it is time for another episode of SFF Spotlight. This is a series of videos where I will talk about new book news, new cover reveal, new Kickstarter campaign, and new special edition, plus new novelty release in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. But considering that I'm away from the house for almost 3 weeks, please remember that I cannot cover every topic from the past almost 3 weeks, but I try my best. And in total, I still have about 20 topics to cover today. And speaking of the UK trip, because I was at Worldcon, let's begin with the first one. And that is the winner of the Hugo Awards. Well, basically this year, Orbit Books win this year's Hugo Award. Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tash won the best novel, and also for the best series, The Imperial Rush by Unlucky won the best series in this year's Hugo Award. And I haven't read the both of them. If you have read them, do let me know what you think about them. But I want to say congratulations to the winners, and also congratulations to Orbit Books for this victory. But moving on to new book news now. For the first one, this is something that I'm super excited about. This is for the second book in the Shadow of the Leviathan series by Robert Jackson Bennett, and this is A Drop of Corruption. And yeah, this is the continuation to the Anna and Dean Staehle from The Tinted Cup. Only the cover art of the US edition has been revealed, and it is once again illustrated and designed by Will Staehle. I hope the cover art to the UK edition will be revealed soon, and it is once again, hopefully, illustrated by Tom Roberts, because that's the one that I own. But yeah, I really love the Tinted Cup. I don't actually know whether this has officially been revealed or not, but many people told me to talk about this on my next episode of SFF Spotlight, so here it is. It is definitely one of my most anticipated books of 2025. And speaking of anticipated books or titles, well, Scott Lynch has dropped some new information about The Gentleman Bastards, and there are many information about this. I will link the details in the description down below, but one of them is the first, I think, the first ever short story about Locke, Lamora, and it will be published on Grimdark magazine, on their 10th anniversary edition of Grimdark magazine. And yeah, I think that's awesome. I love The Gentleman Bastards, so I definitely will read this one. And yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, I got to meet Scott Lynch in person, and yeah, it was incredible. But now let's move on to self-published fantasy news first. The first one is for the prequel novel to Battle Mage by Peter Flannery. Battle Mage by Peter Flannery has often been mentioned as one of the most underrated and also the greatest self-published standalone fantasy novel. And I haven't finished reading the Battle Mage yet. I have tried it a long time ago, but I bounced stuff because it features kind of like a head-hopping narration, and I wasn't prepared for it, but I still will try it again. But now there's news about it. There is a prequel novel to the Battle Mage, and this is titled Battle Mage Aquila. The cover art is illustrated by Joshua Raphael and his Dive 8 studio group, and I think it is awesome. I have seen the sketches of the Battle Mage Aquila cover art, and they are all beautiful in my opinion. I would have struggled choosing which one I would use as the front cover art, but this one looks incredible as well. But yeah, for those of you who are a fan of Battle Mage and you want something more out of it, now you're getting one. I look forward to reading Battle Mage Aquila eventually after I read Battle Mage first. But speaking of books that I really want to read, well, this is a novella for the Echo Saga series by Philip C. Quaintrell. This is Leviathan. Now, I cannot talk too much about this one because this novella, it takes place after the ending of the Echo Saga series. But if you have read the Echo Saga series, I think you will really want to read this novella, because Leviathan focus on some of the favorite characters in the Echo Saga series. I really cannot talk too much about this one because I think just saying a bit about it can be considered a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, there you go. If you haven't read Echo Saga series yet and you love classic epic fantasy and Dragon Rider epic fantasy, or maybe the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill, I do think you should give the Echo Saga series a try. I myself will definitely be reading Leviathan whenever it's possible because, yeah, I have read the entire Echo Saga series and I do want to read more books by Philip C. Quaintrell, such as A Time of Dragons series. And then, moving on to the next one, this is news about the fourth and the last book in the Gunmetal Gods series by Zamil Akhtar. No, this is not related to the Ultimate Edition or the Kickstarter edition of the Gunmetal Gods, but this is about the Dark Drinker, which is the fourth and the final book in the Gunmetal Gods series. And yes, the cover art illustrated by Miblart has been revealed, and it is once again striking in design and also matching, and I love it. I think it looks awesome and I look forward to reading this series for the first time, preferably using the Ultimate Edition of the Gunmetal Gods. Finally, the last book news and cover reveal, and then we will talk about special edition and then Kickstarter campaign. This is for the ebook number 14 of The Wandering Inn by Pirate Abba. And yeah, the cover art once again is illustrated by John Anthony Di Giovanni, one of the best artists in the fantasy and sci-fi genre, in my opinion. And the title of this one, the title of ebook number 14 is Hell's Warden. And yeah, even though I have mentioned The Wandering Inn so many times on my YouTube channel, I still haven't started reading this series yet. Here's hoping I can actually start reading The Wandering Inn within this year. That's all I can say. My reading pile is so immense and my reading progress this year is probably the worst of my entire life so far. But yeah, that's it for the coverage of book news. Now let's move on to talk about special edition and also Kickstarter campaigns. The first one is something that I mentioned briefly on my previous video. On my channel updates video, and this is about The Will of the Many by James Arlington, the deluxe edition announcement. This one has a cover art by Jaime Jones, and I don't know about you, but personally speaking, I think this cover art is a massive upgrade over the previous cover art of The Will of the Many. Now, ever since the announcement, especially on the Instagram post, there have been some valid concerns about cover change, but I'm not here to talk about that, but I'm here to talk about the quality of the cover art. I'm so confused about this. It seems like so many people actually prefer the cover art of the previous edition, the standard edition of The Will of the Many, the Pillars one, over this one illustrated by Jaime Jones. And I think that is mind-blowing to me. I saw some people complain that this one seems like a science fantasy or science fiction cover. Well, that's how it should be. It is a science fantasy novel, and the cover art should reflect that. That's what I feel anyway, and Jaime Jones is really one of the legendary artists. Even without having my name featured on the front cover, I would still be super happy with The Will of the Many having this kind of cover art to their deluxe edition. That's my opinion, okay? But the previous cover art, even though I consider The Will of the Many a masterpiece, if I had any criticism, it has always been the previous cover art. I think this Pillars cover art, it doesn't depict anything about the book except that it is Roman inspired. Some people said that this new cover art is generic. Well, this one is even more generic in my opinion. You can see this cover art on so many Roman historical fiction novel or even non-fiction. Seriously, you can search them and you will find so many Roman pillars, and that's why I think this cover art is a massive upgrade. You can actually make this kind of cover art really easily on Canva in 10 minutes. Just search Roman pillars on Shutterstock, put it on Canva, and also just put typography. That's it. It is that easy. Now this one is difficult to make, and I do think this new cover art by Jaime Jones is a huge upgrade in quality over the previous cover art. And even though most of my followers on Twitter agree with me, I'm quite curious about your thoughts. Which one do you think looks better for The Will of the Many? This one by Jaime Jones or the previous cover art? Because again, as I repeatedly say, this one in my opinion is multiply better than the previous cover art, and I love it very much. But I must mention that Jaime Jones is one of my favorite artists. And I think this cover art definitely depicts the science fantasy aspect of the Will of the Many and also the Roman-inspired setting. I love it very much. I love this cover art very much. It is easily one of my favorite cover art, really. And for those of you who are asking me about it, you can actually pre-order this edition now on Amazon, and I think it is available on Amazon UK and other places as well. But just in case, I will leave the link in the description down below. Moving on to the next one, this is about the Inkstone edition of The Doll Makers by Lynn Buchanan, and the book is actually out now. This is one of my favorite debut of the year 2024 so far, and I think if you love character-driven fantasy, you should try reading this one. I look forward to having Lynn Buchanan on my YouTube channel as well, maybe within this month or maybe next month. But yeah, anyway, there is an Inkstone edition coming for the Doll Makers, and this book will contain interior illustrations by Deandra Scicluna. And yeah, they are beautiful artwork, and the book is great as well. I posted my full review of the Doll Makers on my YouTube channel. And now let's move on to Kickstarter campaign. Before I start talking about the Broken Binding edition, there are many news when I'm in the UK, apparently. But yeah, the first one is about another Kickstarter campaign by Brandon Sanderson, and this time together with Brother Wise Games. So Brandon Sanderson has been teasing about the Stormlight Archive RPG for a while now, but in reality, it is a Cosmere RPG. So this one is long-term, not only about Stormlight and also about Mistborn, but there will be about Elantrians and many more, I assuming, in the future. Now, I'm not an RPG player, except RPG on my PlayStation, but this one, I think I will actually try getting it just to see all the artwork provided by so many incredible artists. Maybe I will get the workbook. Yeah, in total there are 6 books, I believe, in the Kickstarter campaign, and I will not talk about them all in this video. There are so many details about this Kickstarter campaign, and if you haven't checked it somehow, then you feel free to check it out. I will leave the link in the description down below. But as I said, so many amazing artists such as Deandra Scicluna again, and then Kate Burmak, Lia Setiawan, and many more are involved in this project. And yeah, I look forward to seeing the final result of this Kickstarter campaign. And as you can probably expect, it is more than 7 million already in funding. So yeah, it is definitely another huge success. Moving on to the next 2 Kickstarter campaign that I want to spotlight. These are both from Raidmark Creative. The first one is in collaboration with Podium Audio. This is for The Choice of Magic by Michael G. Manning. This is the first book in the Art of the Adapt series, and the cover art is once again illustrated by Daniel Kamarudin and also designed by Shawn T. And yeah, there will be interior artworks by Daniel Kamarudin as well. As far as cover art goes, I think this is one of my favorites from Raidmark so far. But this is not the only thing you should be excited about, because the next Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight, this is for their edition of The Sword of Kaigen. Yeah, The Sword of Kaigen and also Where Loyalties Lie. These books, this Raidmark edition, they are coming on the 3rd of September 2024. I will make sure to mention it again on my next episode of SFF Spotlight. But for those of you who missed out on the previous limited edition of The Sword of Kaigen, then you don't want to miss this one. This one will look absolutely stunning. And yeah, I think you will really want to get this. That's all I can say. Hopefully I can mention more in my next episode. As usual, I have attached the link to the Kickstarter page in the description down below. Now moving on, we still have 3 more Kickstarter campaigns to spotlight. I think the first one is about to go live, and this is for The Rage of Saints by S.A. Klopfenstein. This is a Kickstarter campaign for the sequel to the Shadow Watch, and it will once again feature the same team behind the first book, which is a cover art by Rachel St. Clair, and then interior artwork by Andrew Maleski and also Joe Requeza. I haven't read this book yet, but if you back the first book, well, you don't want to miss this one, including the next one, which is already funded. This is for The Other Way by Derek Smythe. This is the sequel to The Other Magic. And again, similar to The Rage of Saints, The Other Way features the same team behind The Other Magic, which means cover art by Madeline Design and paper by Daniel Hazenbos, and this time Joshua Kairos. Joshua Kairos is a great artist. He has done many artwork on MTG, Magic the Gathering, and also A Song of Ice and Fire. And there will be also colored interior artwork by Setiawan Techakampu and again Joshua Kairos, plus black and white artwork by Joe Requeza and Omer Burak Onal. So overall, I think in terms of production value, this one will top over the other Magic easily. And finally, the last Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight today, this is for the Elements of Time, for the first book, Winds of Change, and also the prequel novella. These books are finally being done in hardcover edition. These are both self-published fantasy books, and I haven't read them yet, but this one, especially the first book, The Wind of Change, have been getting very high and positive ratings on Goodreads and also Amazon, despite relatively few number of people who have read it. But yeah, everyone who have read it seems to think that this is an amazing novel, especially for those of us who are fans of Brandon Sanderson. And yeah, this one features a cover art by Jeff Brown, and this time the hardcover edition will have interior artwork as well. So yeah, that's it really for the topic of Kickstarter campaign. Now let's move on to the final section of today's video, and that is to talk about special edition, or to be more precise, the Broken Binding edition, because these are all about the Broken Binding edition now. The first one, because I just talked about Jeff Brown, well, when I was on the way on my airplane flight to the UK, apparently the 3-body problem has been revealed. And yeah, I'm super thrilled with this announcement and seeing everyone's reaction to it, because back when I got asked to work on this one, because I love Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, this cover art, the art brief and the art direction, it appeared in my mind so vividly, and I wrote practically an essay to Jeff Brown, and Jeff Brown was super happy with the art brief, and he was super excited to immediately work on the cover art. And yeah, this is the result. I made sure the chaotic era of the VR in the 3-body problem is well portrayed here. That's what I wanted, to be as detailed as possible, because in the game and in the book, basically, in the virtual reality game in the 3-body problem, the weather in the chaotic era means that from extreme hot, it can transform immediately to extreme cold. And I want that depicted in the cover art, especially in the spine. So you can see the transition from red to blue in the spine here. And yeah, I really love the result here. And this is not all. This is the next sci-fi subs, right, from the Broken Binding. And the next fantasy sub has been announced as well. And it is for Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy by Tad Williams. And yes, I once again work on this one together with Jeff Brown on the cover art. And yeah, I think it is a gorgeous cover art. It is a scene from the first chapter, for those of you who remember, but it depicted John Presbyter as he is talking with the jester while holding Brightnail, his sword. And yeah, I tried to convey to Jeff Brown that I want this one to be as epic and as accurate as possible to the scene. And yeah, I think Jeff Brown did an excellent job on this cover art in my opinion. And I'm not biased about this. I do think this is a gorgeous cover art. And yeah, there will be interior artworks in the Broken Binding edition of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn as well. Not only colored and papers, but interior black and white artwork as well. I think one has been revealed, and it is illustrated by Raphael Pina. Check Raphael Pina out. He's awesome. I had such a great time working with him on this edition of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series, and I hope all of you will love the result. And speaking of Jeff Brown, because I went to Worldcon together with him as well, I want to give a shout out to him because he's my friend and I think he is one of my favorite artists. I have mentioned that so many times before I even met him, that he is one of my favorite artists, but he's up for a DragonCon award now for his cover art on the Silverblood Promise. So yeah, if you love that one, make sure to vote it on, well, I will leave the link in the description down below. And then finally, let's move on to the final topic, and it is for the Sun Eater edition of the Broken Binding edition by Christopher Ruocchio. So the cover art of the Howling Dark and also Demon in White have both been revealed. And yeah, once again, the cover art are done by Rene Eichner, but the reversible cover art are done by Peng Lu. Personally, I think the bas relief stands out more, and I think I will end up using that one, but I really love the cover art of Howling Dark. I think it is amazing, it's beautiful, and I think it depicts the theme of Howling Dark quite well. If you have read the book, you will know what I'm talking about. But more importantly here, for those of you who kept asking me about the details of the sales, well, the details are out now. For those of you who want to buy the Broken Binding Edition of Sun Eater, make sure to check out the link in the description down below. Well, basically, for all the news that I spotlighted today, if you want to know more, there are links to it. But yeah, if you want early access to the Broken Binding Edition of Sun Eater, just like the Malazan Book of the Fallen, it is possible to do it. And yeah, you can fill in the interest form. And I think it is really near the time for the Broken Binding Edition of Sun Eater sales to go live. So yeah, do not be late on this. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. I'm sorry if I missed out on some news. As I said, the past 16 or 17 days have been incredibly busy for me, and it has been difficult to keep track of all the news that I want to spotlight on my SFF Spotlight videos. But I do hope that you have enjoyed watching this video, and yeah, I am back and I will do my best for the next episodes of SFF Spotlight as well, and of course for my YouTube channel. And yeah, as always, let me know what you think about the news that I spotlighted today in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.